Black single dad only had $50 for a blind date. The small Italian restaurant on Maple Street had been there for 30 years. Its red checkered tablecloths and soft candlelight created the kind of atmosphere where people felt safe to be themselves. Marcus straightened his tie one more time, his hands slightly trembling. At 54, he hadn't been on a date in 7 years, not since his wife passed. His daughter Emma, now 23, had finally convinced him it was time. "Dad, you deserve happiness," she'd said, setting up this blind date with her friend's aunt, a woman named Patricia. Marcus had checked his wallet 3 times that evening. $50. That's all he had until payday next week. His paycheck from the warehouse went to Emma's college loans, the mortgage on their small house, and his mother's assisted living. But he'd managed to save these $50, determined to make tonight special. Patricia arrived right on time. She was elegant, with kind eyes and a warm smile that immediately put Marcus at ease. "You must be Marcus," she said, extending her hand. "Emma's told me wonderful things about you." They settled into a corner table. Marcus had studied the menu online the night before, calculating carefully. 2 modest entrees, 1 appetizer to share, water instead of wine. He could make it work. At the next table sat an older gentleman reading a newspaper. Harold Mitchell, 70 years old, had built his software company from nothing and sold it 10 years ago. Now he spent his time doing what he loved most, observing people and quietly helping where he could. Harold had noticed Marcus the moment he walked in. Something about the way the younger man held himself spoke of dignity mixed with worry. Harold had learned to recognize that combination. He'd worn it himself once, 40 years ago. The evening unfolded gently. Marcus and Patricia talked about their children, their losses, their hopes. There was no pretense between them, just 2 people who'd lived full lives being honest with each other. "I lost my husband 12 years ago," Patricia shared. "I thought I'd never want to try again. But Emma was so insistent and something told me to take the chance." "I know exactly what you mean," Marcus replied. "My Emma said the same thing. She told me her mother would want me to be happy." Harold listened without meaning to. Their conversation reminded him of his own late wife, of second chances, of the courage it takes to remain open to life. When the waiter came, Marcus ordered carefully. "We'll share the minestrone soup to start, then the spaghetti marinara and the chicken piccata, please. And water for both of us." He saw Patricia glance at the wine list, then back at him. She understood. She smiled and said, "Perfect choices. I'm not much of a drinker anyway." Marcus relaxed a little. She was kind. That mattered more than anything. Harold folded his newspaper. He'd seen enough. He quietly called the waiter over and whispered something, sliding his credit card across the table. The dinner was lovely. Marcus and Patricia laughed about their children's attempts to modernize them, shared stories about raising kids alone, and discovered they both loved old jazz music and Sunday morning crossword puzzles. When the check came, Marcus reached for his wallet, ready to count out his carefully saved bills. But the waiter smiled and set down a different kind of paper. "Sir, your meal has been taken care of. The gentleman at the next table wanted you to have this." Marcus looked over. Harold was standing, preparing to leave. Their eyes met. "I don't understand," Marcus said, standing up. "Sir, I can't accept—" Harold walked over slowly. "May I join you for just a moment?" Marcus and Patricia nodded, bewildered. Harold sat down and spoke quietly. 38 years ago, I was a young man with 2 jobs and a wife I loved more than life itself. I saved for weeks to take her somewhere nice for her birthday. I had exactly $63. He paused, his eyes distant with memory. A stranger paid for our meal that night. I tried to refuse. He told me something I've never forgotten. He said, "Let me do this. Someday when you can, pass it forward. That's all I ask." Marcus felt his throat tighten. "I've spent many years being able to pass it forward," Harold continued. "But it's not about the money. It's about recognizing dignity when I see it. You didn't order the cheapest things to be cheap. You ordered carefully because you have people depending on you. That's different. That's honor." Patricia reached over and gently touched Marcus's hand. "I saw how you looked at this lady." Harold smiled. "With respect. With genuine interest. That's rare. This isn't charity. This is one man who remembers what it's like, helping another man enjoy an evening he deserves." Harold stood up. "There's more on that card than your dinner. Take her somewhere nice next time. Maybe get some flowers. And someday, when you see someone who needs a kindness, you'll remember this moment." Marcus stood too, tears in his eyes. "Thank you, sir. I'll never forget this." "Neither will I," Harold said simply. "You reminded me why I love building my business. It was always about people. Real people living real lives with dignity." After Harold left, Marcus and Patricia sat in silence for a moment. "That was remarkable," Patricia said softly. "It was," Marcus agreed. "You know what strikes me most? He didn't pity me. He respected me. He saw a man trying his best, and he honored that." They talked for another hour, the pressure of the bill gone. Just two people genuinely enjoying each other's company. When Marcus drove Patricia home, she turned to him before getting out of the car. "I'd very much like to see you again. And next time it's my treat. We'll take turns. That's what partners do." Marcus smiled. "I'd like that very much." That night, lying in bed, Marcus thought about Harold's words. About dignity. About passing forward kindness. About how a simple gesture can change not just an evening, but a person's whole sense of hope. He made himself a promise. When Emma finished school and things got easier, he'd look for those moments too. Those chances to see someone trying their best and say, "I see you. Your effort matters. Let me help carry this load for just a moment." Because that's what Harold had really given him. Not a free meal, but the reminder that his struggles were seen. His dignity was intact, and his careful budgeting wasn't a source of shame, but a sign of love for his family. And sometimes, that recognition is the greatest gift of all.